In America's early colonial history, few places loom as large as Jamestown, Virginia. Founded in 1607, Jamestown was the first permanent English settlement in the New World, a fragile outpost perched on the edge of an untamed continent. From this precarious foothold would emerge the beginnings of what would eventually become the United States of America. But even as Jamestown laid the foundations of a new nation, it also buried its secrets deep beneath layers of soil, beneath the floorboards of a long-lost church, and within the very bones of the men who died there. Now, more than 400 years later, modern science has begun to speak for the dead. Using ancient DNA sequencing, researchers have not only identified two of Jamestown's earliest settlers, but uncovered a hidden aristocratic scandal deliberately erased from English history. The birth of Jamestown. At the dawn of the 17th century, England, under King James I, was eager to expand its power and claim its share of the New World's riches. In 1606, the Virginia Company of London, a joint stock enterprise, was chartered with ambitious goals to establish a colony in North America, discover gold and valuable commodities, and find a westward passage to Asia. In December of that year, 3 small ships, Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, departed London carrying 104 men and boys. After a brutal 4.5-month voyage across the Atlantic, they reached a swampy peninsula along the James River in May 1607, naming their settlement Jamestown in honor of their king. From the beginning, survival was uncertain. The colonists were unprepared for the harsh realities of the land. Dysentery, typhoid, and saltwater poisoning claimed lives. Hostilities with the Powhatan Confederacy escalated. Internal disputes threatened cohesion. Only the iron will of Captain John Smith, abrasive yet effective, imposed order. His negotiations with the Powhatan secured vital food supplies. But when Smith departed in 1609, Jamestown descended into chaos. The starving time. The winter of 1609 to 1610, known as the Starving Time, nearly erased the colony from existence. Famine, disease, and relentless siege reduced the population from several hundred to just 60 survivors. As desperation peaked, the colonists prepared to abandon Jamestown entirely. Then, in June 1610, salvation arrived. A fleet entered the James River bearing supplies, reinforcements, and a new governor, Thomas West, 3rd Baron de la Warre. A nobleman and seasoned military commander, his arrival is widely credited with saving the colony from collapse. He did not come alone. West was accompanied, or soon joined, by several male relatives, his brothers Francis, John, and Nathaniel, and other kinsmen of the English gentry. For some, Jamestown was a place of ambition. For others, perhaps a place of refuge. The church at the center. At the heart of every English settlement stood the church. Faith was woven into daily life, governance, and identity. Jamestown's first church was little more than a crude structure, erected shortly after arrival. By 1608, a more substantial wooden church stood within the triangular palisade of James Fort. This church served not only as a place of worship, but as a burial ground for the colony's most prominent figures, following English tradition. It is within the archaeological footprint of this 1608 church that a remarkable discovery would unfold centuries later. Unearthing the dead. In 1994, the Jamestown Rediscovery Project, led by Dr. William Kelso, began systematic excavations of the original fort.
Nearly 2 decades later, in 2013 and 2014, archaeologists working in the church's chancel uncovered 4 aligned graves. Their placement alone signaled high status. These were not common burials. They were deliberate, careful, and ceremonial. 2 coffins stood out. They were finely crafted, clearly superior to the others. Inside one, archaeologists made a stunning find: the delicate remains of a spangled military sash, its fabric woven with silver thread and sequins. Such an item was unmistakable, a symbol of a high-ranking military officer, a gentleman of elite status. Identifying the dead. Using burial context, skeletal analysis, age estimation, and colonial records, letters, logs, and official documents, researchers began identifying the men. The officer buried with the sash was believed to be Captain William West. Colonial records state that a Captain William West, a kinsman of Governor Thomas West, arrived in Jamestown in June 1610 aboard the same ship as the governor. His time in Virginia was brief. He was killed during a skirmish with Powhatan warriors in late 1610 or early 1611, likely in his early 20s. His burial within the church chancel was fitting for a relative of the governor who died in service to the colony. The second well-constructed coffin was attributed to Sir Ferdinando Wainman. Wainman was a man of rank and the first English knight buried in America. He was the governor's first cousin, their mothers, both named Anne West, being sisters. Historical accounts record that Wainman arrived in 1610 and died of illness later that year at around 34 years old. The remaining 2 graves were identified as Reverend Robert Hunt, Jamestown's first Anglican minister, who died in 1608, and Captain Gabriel Archer, an early colonial leader who perished during the starving time. The historical puzzle seemed solved, but science had more to say. DNA speaks. To confirm their conclusions, researchers turned to ancient DNA analysis. Specifically, they examined mitochondrial DNA, a type of genetic material passed exclusively through the maternal line, from mother to child, nearly unchanged across generations. If 2 individuals share the same mitochondrial DNA, it strongly suggests a direct maternal connection. The results were astonishing. Sir Ferdinando Wainman and Captain William West shared the exact same mitochondrial DNA signature. This meant they were related through their mothers. The finding baffled historians. William West carried the West surname. Wainman's mother was West. Their assumed relationship followed the paternal line, not the maternal. Yet the DNA told a different story. This was no distant kinship. This was a shared maternal ancestor. A hidden scandal. Prompted by the genetic evidence, historians returned to the archives with fresh eyes. They searched legal documents, wills, court records, anything connected to Captain William West's affairs after his death. And there, buried in forgotten testimony, they found the truth. Captain William West was not the legitimate son of Lord Delaware's brother. He was the son of Elizabeth West, the governor's aunt, and Elizabeth West had never married. In the rigid social order of 17th century England, illegitimacy among the aristocracy was a profound scandal. Such children were often supported, educated, and advanced, but their true parentage was quietly concealed to protect family honor and inheritance. William West had been acknowledged, elevated, and given opportunity. But his birth was deliberately erased from official history. Until now. Science unmasks history. For over 4 centuries, this secret remained hidden, protected by silence, tradition, and carefully curated genealogies. It took ancient DNA to expose it. This discovery marks the first time genetic evidence has revealed a case of aristocratic illegitimacy in early colonial America. It proves that even the most carefully guarded secrets can be unearthed if science knows where to look. And it raises a haunting question. If one buried grave can rewrite history, what else lies waiting beneath our feet? What other stories, forgotten, suppressed, or erased, are still hidden in the soil? The earth remembers, and now, at last, it is beginning to speak. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story where science meets history, be sure to like, subscribe, and continue exploring the mysteries of our past.